Harper Lee's To Kill a Mockingbird is one of the most influential American novels of the 20th century, first published in 1960. It's a story about racism, injustice, and growing up, set in the fictional town of Macomb, Alabama, during the 1930s. Through the eyes of the narrator, Scout Finch, readers are drawn into a world where prejudice and moral courage clash. This novel continues to be a staple in high school curriculums because it helps young people understand complex social issues such as racial inequality and moral development. In this overview, we'll explore the novel's setting, plot, characters, themes, and the overall story, making it easy to follow and understand. Setting: the novel is set in Macomb, Alabama, during the Great Depression. This historical period took place in the 1930s and was marked by widespread poverty and unemployment in the United States. Many families, including the Finch family, are affected by the economic hardship of the time. But it's the Black community of Macomb that faces the worst of the inequality, as they are also subjected to severe racial discrimination. Macomb is a small, close-knit town where everyone knows everyone else's business. The town itself is described as old and sleepy, with slow-moving days and a sense of tradition that doesn't welcome change. The courthouse, the Finch's home, and the Radley house are central to the events of the story and serve as symbols for the deeper conflicts in the town. The courthouse represents justice, but also injustice, as racial prejudice influences the outcome of legal matters. The Finch house represents the warmth of family and morality, while the Radley house, shrouded in mystery, symbolizes fear of the unknown and how it can lead to misunderstanding. Plot: the novel spans several years in the lives of Scout Finch and her older brother, Jem. At the start of the story, Scout is 6 years old, and the main events unfold as she grows into a more mature understanding of the world around her. Scout and Jem live with their father, Atticus Finch, who is a well-respected lawyer in Macomb. The children spend their time playing with their friend Dill, who visits Macomb during the summer. One of their favorite pastimes is to imagine stories about their reclusive neighbor, Boo Radley, who never leaves his house. They come up with all sorts of wild ideas about him, believing he's a dangerous figure based on town rumors. Despite these stories, Boo quietly watches over the children and becomes important later in the story. The central conflict in the novel revolves around Atticus taking on the legal defense of Tom Robinson, a Black man falsely accused of raping a white woman, Mayella Ewell. This case stirs up deep-seated racial tensions in Macomb. Even though there is strong evidence that Tom did not commit the crime, the jury convicts him simply because he is Black. Atticus's decision to defend Tom brings scorn upon his family, and Scout and Jem have to deal with taunts and insults from their peers and neighbors. As the trial unfolds, Atticus presents a solid defense, proving that it was likely Mayella's father, Bob Ewell, who abused her. Bob is a violent, racist man who accuses Tom to cover up his own misdeeds. However, the deeply prejudiced jury ignores the evidence and convicts Tom, showing how racism and injustice are ingrained in the society of Macomb. The trial's outcome devastates Scout and Jem. Tom later attempts to escape from prison, but is shot, further underscoring the hopelessness of justice for Black people in the South at that time. After the trial, Bob Ewell, humiliated by Atticus's defense, seeks revenge. One night, he attacks Scout and Jem as they walk home from a school event. Boo Radley, the mysterious neighbor who had been watching over them, intervenes and saves the children. The sheriff decides to protect Boo from the public eye by claiming that Bob Ewell fell on his own knife, allowing Boo to remain in peace. In this final act, Boo becomes a real-life hero, challenging the children's early fears about him. The story ends with Scout reflecting on the lessons she has learned about empathy, courage, and human nature. Character: Scout Finch, the narrator and protagonist of the story. Scout is a smart, curious, and outspoken young girl. Through her, readers witness the events in Macomb and learn about the injustice that exists in the world. Scout matures significantly over the course of the novel, moving from innocence to a more complex understanding of morality and human nature. Atticus Finch, Scout's father and a central character in the story. He is a lawyer who believes strongly in justice and equality. Atticus is a model of moral integrity, taking on Tom Robinson's case, despite knowing that defending a Black man will make him unpopular. He teaches his children the importance of empathy, encouraging them to climb into another person's skin and walk around in it before judging them. Jem Finch, Scout's older brother, who also matures throughout the story. Jem is deeply affected by the injustice he sees during Tom Robinson's trial and struggles to come to terms with the racism in Macomb. His growing understanding of the world parallels Scout's, but he often feels the pain of injustice more intensely. Boo Radley, a mysterious neighbor who rarely leaves his house. Boo is initially a source of fear and fascination for the children. However, he ultimately emerges as a protector, saving Scout and Jem from Bob Ewell's attack. Boo represents the idea that people are often misunderstood based on rumors or appearances. Tom Robinson, a black man falsely accused of raping Mayella Ewell. He represents the victims of racial prejudice in the justice system. Even though it is clear that he is innocent, he is convicted because of the color of his skin, symbolizing the deep injustice in Maycomb. Bob Ewell, the main antagonist of the story. Bob Ewell is a racist, abusive man who accuses Tom Robinson of raping his daughter to cover up his own abuse. He represents the worst of Maycomb's racism and hatred, seeking revenge on those who challenge him. Mayella Ewell, Bob Ewell's daughter, who falsely accuses Tom Robinson of raping her. She is a tragic figure, trapped in poverty and abused by her father. Yet her lie leads to Tom's conviction. Themes: racial injustice. The most important theme in the novel is the deep racial inequality that exists in Maycomb. Tom Robinson's trial highlights how racism influences the legal system and society as a whole. Despite clear evidence of his innocence, Tom is convicted purely because of his race. This injustice leaves a lasting impact on Scout, Jem, and the reader. Moral growth and empathy. Scout learns valuable lessons about empathy and understanding others. Through her father Atticus, she learns that to truly understand people, you must see things from their perspective. This lesson is emphasized through her changing views on Boo Radley, who, in the end, is revealed to be a caring and protective figure. The Loss of Innocence. Both Scout and Jem lose their innocence as they witness the harsh realities of the world, particularly through the injustice of Tom Robinson's trial. The title, To Kill a Mockingbird, symbolizes the destruction of innocence, as the mockingbird is a creature that brings only beauty and should not be harmed. Conclusion: To Kill a Mockingbird is a powerful story about the fight for justice in a society where racism is deeply rooted. Through the eyes of Scout Finch, readers learn about the importance of empathy, the impact of prejudice, and the moral courage it takes to stand up for what is right. By the end of the novel, Scout realizes that people like Boo Radley and Tom Robinson are like mockingbirds, innocent beings who should be protected, not harmed. The novel's themes of justice, race, and morality remain relevant today, making it a timeless read for high school students and beyond.